Hello and welcome back to another episode of Living in the Miracle. And as always, we talk about the miracles that we are all surrounded with. And today I have my guest, Melinda Van Fleet. Melinda, it's great to see you. Please introduce yourself and tell what you're doing in this beautiful world.
Yes. Hi, Irina. Great to see you. You and I have already done some things together, so I appreciate being on the podcast and back. I guess we're on StreamYard now. So StreamYard
Yay!
out to the ethers. So hi, everyone. My name is Melinda Van Fleet, and I'm an empowerment business coach. I help people really open up their intuition, listen to their intuition, understand energetics, along with actual 3D strategies and tips, because I have a lot of business experience, as well as the fact that I am a business owner to this day with my husband. We own Good Karma Sportfishing and Coaching here in the Florida Keys for the last 12 years. So I'm a business coach who also has a business. So yeah, excited to be here today. Thank you.
Woohoo! So let's just dive into the topic, shall we?
Yes.
So, Melinda, when I'm saying miracles, do you believe in miracles?
I do, and they happen all the time.
I'm happy that you said that. So, share something from your personal life, because you know what? The way I always tell to people, it doesn't have to be something extraordinary. Even the simplest thing, like the other day, I just opened my balcony and I saw a beautiful bird with, like red feathers. And I was like, oh my God, so cute, right? And I just realizing that this is not something I usually see in the nature. And for me, it was a miracle. Like, how did this bird end up here? And it just, gives me so much joy and excitement just to realize that, yeah, miracles are all around us. And it's just a matter of starting noticing them.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that you said that, because when you told me the topic, that was my first intuition hit, was really to make it clear to people that it doesn't need to be some big thing. And unfortunately, with social media and everything out there, and what gets promoted and what gets shared, it does a lot of, let's say, damage to our brains, that we think that everything has to be this big thing, right? That you get this like brand new car or multi-mansion or fancy vacation, and really just appreciating the fact that miracles happen for us all day long, all the time, and just increasing our awareness around them is really important. So what I've come to really be grateful for is all I call them miracles, in terms of like picking up on little breadcrumbs along the way, little like moments of like, aha, oh, I see that now. And then connecting the dots and it unfolds. So the magic and the miracle is in the unfolding. And it can be anything from a challenge that you may be having in your life or your business. It could be dealing with someone that's been a difficult situation, which is very rampant right now. There's a lot of challenging relationships happening, personally, professionally, marriage-wise. And when you have like these little like nuggets that kind of come to you and unfold, and you see like patterns, and you're able to see these things and appreciate them and get clarity from them, and then make decisions and choices from them, those are all miracles. Those are all miracles. So it doesn't necessarily always mean that a miracle has to be an actual like object per se. It can be just mental awareness and enlightenment, which brings you peace, right? Brings you peace, brings you joy, brings you happiness. And then when you're in that state energetically, that's when even bigger things can happen and unfold for you over time. So I think it's really important to understand that as like a foundational piece. And again, unfortunately, we listen to too many, things on the internet that are keeping us in this other space and not keeping us grounded to just the everyday miracles that happen for us, like mentally and in the physical.
I love what you shared, especially like, like we are so, bombarded with lots of information between the news and social media consumption. And a lot of times we're just, like not even focused on what is meaningful.
Mhm.
And that's when we talk about, like really connect to your heart and understand what you want from life, and just follow those podcasts, follow those people, get to know better, to be in the space that really gives you life, that really gives you more like positive emotions, rather than just constantly watching the news and get charged up. Like I always tell the people, I'm not watching the news at all,
Mm.
because it's not really impacting my life. Why? Because I'm the leader in my life. I do not depend on the economy. I do not depend on any other circumstances. I am creating my reality. That's the miracle for me. Once I discovered that I am the creator in my life, and once I discovered that I can manifest successfully, that was the miracle for me.
Yeah, yeah. But I think too, I think that's beautiful. I had this phrase come to my mind that I heard a long time ago, and I was laughing because my husband and I run a very successful sport fishing and coaching business in the Keys, and we're in a growth mode. We're adding more things for the guys in the group, and we're super excited about that. So it's just super, super fun. And in that, I've always been like a planner, right? And like thinking that I have this plan and this is all going to work out according to plan. Now layer in all of the social media and all these personal development coaches out there that are trying to tell you that you can manifest everything on your list, right? So what came to me was a phrase that says, if you want to make God laugh, tell him or her your plans. And I was like, oh my gosh. So having something as simple as a phrase come to you, right, and remind you of something is also a miracle, because it gets you out of your own way mentally, so these other things can come into your field and manifest in the way that is for the best for you and for others too. So I had to
Absolutely.
laugh, and I actually had written that in my journal. I was like, I have to remember that phrase. It's such a great phrase. And a lot of people know that phrase. I didn't make it up. I can't remember who originated it.
Yes, yes. We also have that, like in
So
Russian
great.
language, like we always say the same, right? But the idea is that, like when we tune in to our intuition, and since you intuitively coach people, what
Mhm.
does it come for you when you talk about the miracle of our intuition?
Say that again. Sorry.
What does it come for you when I say to you the miracle to have our intuition?
Yeah, it's just a gift. It's a gift to be able to listen to something, to listen to the guidance. So listen to your gut. If you're, more mainstream, that's totally fine in terms of just terminology. Again, it happens all the time. So this past week, I was not able to attend a lunch that I had paid for. And it wasn't a huge ticket. It was only $50. And often, I sign up for things in advance, and sometimes I can't go just because we're busy, and I literally just can't go. And so that was happening on Tuesday. I just couldn't go. So on Monday, I sent an email to the organizer, and I said, I can't go. I know this lunch normally sells out. And if there's someone on, the wait list that would like my ticket, they can Zelle me the money and have my ticket. And the organizer very nicely got back to me and said, yes, it's sold out, but I don't have a wait list. I was like, okay, cool. And I let it go, right? I let it go. I didn't stress about it. I didn't worry about it. I didn't think about it. And the next morning, a friend of mine who also attends the same lunch, she texted me and she said, oh, hey, are you going to the lunch today? And I texted her back, and my intuition was like, tell her that you'd sell your ticket, right? And actually I was guided on the Monday to also say, sell your ticket, because I don't normally do that. And so I texted her and I said, hey, I can't make it. We're slammed. I'm really busy. However, if you know someone who would like my ticket, they can sell me the money and they can have my ticket. It's a really great lunch. And sure enough, she knew someone. She was like, I have
Wow.
a friend, I know this person too. And she's like, my friend would like the ticket. And so I was like, here's my Zelle. And she paid me right away. And we emailed the organizer and said, this person's taken my ticket. And there you go. That's a miracle, right?
It is a miracle.
Do it. Like, I was just going to ditch the lunch and eat the $50. And, so to me, the story is more like fun than even the $50, right?
Right, exactly. How the universe conspires and like puts the things together, orchestrated everything
Yes.
in our favor. And that brings to me to the point that, like the power of intention, right? When we have the intention that we want to do something and we hold on to that, even though we do not know how this thing is
No.
gonna appear right in our life, but we are very confident that it's gonna show up for us no matter how, right?
Yeah.
And
And that's
then
exactly it.
as,
I just
as
let
the
it
things
go.
are yes, and as the things are unfolding, you realize yes, it does work because it's all energy. And how
Mhm.
many times I keep emphasizing that energy is everything, and we do know how to focus our energy on something that we truly desire, and we can actually direct our energy somewhere that we want for the results to show up. And that's
Mhm.
exactly what I help people to tune in, because a lot of people, it's just like it's difficult to comprehend when this is something that you cannot see with your eyes, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
that's why when we talk about the intuition, because intuition is also not part of our five senses, right? We know it well, but intuition is actually one of our mental faculties. And once we know how to operate with intuition, because we are all having it, it's not like just some people are more intuitive than others. Some people want to develop that skills. Everybody can, because we are all born with that. But another thing is if they are willing, right? Because intuition is the same, like as any other skill. If you truly want to train yourself to be able to notice the signs, to interpret them, to really receive the information, you can definitely do that. But it takes time and practice, and it's all about just working with that muscle.
Yes, yes. So my mantra in my business is that I help my clients believe, take action, and trust. So that simple example that I shared, and I shared it for people to really have a real life example and be able to like look at that and go, oh yeah, I get it. And notice where you're not doing that is really important, right? So I have a belief, right? In my body, I believe that things happen for me in the highest good. And I took action when on Monday, I heard the download, let's say, the little voice, however you want to put
Mhm.
it, message that said, hey, email the organizer and say you'll sell your ticket. I was like, okay. So I took action, and then I trusted that even though the organizer was like, I don't have a wait list, that whatever's going to happen was going to happen. And sure enough, the next day, 24 hours later, someone bought the ticket. So, yeah, I think it's important to really know, like you said, like we all can do these things and to be working on it. If this interests you, if this doesn't interest you, that's cool. I love you anyways. So,
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what I love about intuition? It's just, like it's that inner GPS that can guide us, and intuition doesn't have any logic to that, right?
mm,
Because a lot of times we might see the messages popping up or hear something, and then we can't put that together. But my invitation is just, stay with that kind of, like allow things to unfold and see that in the right time something is gonna really show up for you.
right, right, exactly, exactly. So our ego tries to come in and tell us, yeah, you're too busy. You don't need to do that. It's not going to work. No one's going to buy your ticket. And yeah, that's the little voice that you just got. You keep listening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yes. And I just love that topic, because like I said, intuition, if we follow our intuition, everything becomes so much easy and effortless, right? Because we just follow what the nudges, the signs, the downloads. I don't hear the voice, but I get the downloads, and
Mhm.
I know exactly like the ideas. And if I act, like you mentioned, inspired action is very important. When I act on these ideas, I see the results.
Yep,
And
absolutely. And the more you do that,
mm-hmm.
the more it just happens all the time. So back to what we said in the beginning, right? Just miracles happen all the time. So
Yes,
mhm.
it's all about just believe in yourself, right? Because a lot of times what I really realize, a lot of people can't even make the decisions for themselves. They go around and consult everybody for their opinions, for what everybody thinks, before they actually consult themselves. But it should be vice versa. You have to trust yourself enough to make that decision for yourself, right? Because a lot of people want the changes in their lives, but they are not doing anything about it.
That's
Because
true.
again, it's like, self-doubt. If what if it's not gonna work? Uncertainty, stepping out of the comfort zone, just going into the uncharted territory, right? And then they start asking everybody. And guess what? They are asking the people in the same circle who were never ventured out for something else, and these people only can give their opinion from their level of awareness.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they are not and this is like something that I discovered for myself, because when I ventured for this work, a lot of people kind of couldn't understand what this is all about, right? And again, I guess I just carry this energy. People do not really freely express what they think about it because I'm pretty fast, like, like saying, hey, you know what? If you are not somewhere where I'm heading, you cannot give me your advice.
Mm, yes.
And that is so true. It's just like, how could people give you advice if they never reached the level that you are heading to, right? They
It
are not
happens.
in that.
Yeah, it happens all the time. So I'm so glad you brought this up because that is just a dream killer for so many people, is that they ask their opinion
Mhm,
and they listen. So heck, if Ryan and I listened to other people, we would never be in the Florida Keys. We'd still be
mhm,
having jobs in Minnesota after we both got
mhm.
laid off at the same time in 2009. So um, we wouldn't be entrepreneurs. We wouldn't have our sport fishing and coaching business if we listened to other people. So I love that you brought that up because it's just so true. And sometimes, a lot of people, I know I advise my clients this if they have big dreams. I'm like, keep it to yourself. Keep it to
Mhm.
yourself unless you totally know that person's going to be supportive and there's like a reason why you're telling them, like your spouse or your partner or something like that,
Right.
right? An investor, something that, is actually makes sense because
Mhm.
unfortunately there are a lot of people that will for their own issues, bring it down. So it's true.
Right. Right. So it's all about just, like believe in yourself and surround yourself with the people who
Hmm.
are having similar goals and dreams, and just stay in that like-minded community. It's very important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And something you said earlier is really true too about the amount of people that wish to stay in comfort is like an epidemic. And I have never been that person. So I've had personally a hard time with that as a coach and as a mentor, in really seeing how much of an epidemic that is. Like how many people would rather stay in their state than do the work to get out of it. And yeah, I hope that through your podcast, through my podcast, the Wake Up Call, through other teachers out there that are sharing the same messages, that it helps some people move and try to do the work, because yeah, it's truly a lot of people sitting in comfort in the
Yes,
fear.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
like I always say, miracles, like I did come up with this mantra, and this is my daily mantra. I say miracles happen to me every day in every way, right?
Yes.
And it's all about just, like expect something good rather than just wake up in the morning and thinking about, oh my God, I have this list to do, right? Why
Yeah.
don't you wake up and just say, let's see what miraculous is gonna come to
Mhm.
my way, right? From the universe. Let's see what the universe delivers today. And just, stay in that childlike energy, curiosity, being uplifted, joyous, and see what the universe brings to you.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And it's oh gosh, all the time. Like I'm always like, oh, this works out. This morning I had to drive down to Lower Matacumbe, which is an hour south of our house, for an interview to interview for someone for the paper because I'm a freelance writer. And then I had a podcast before you that was getting recorded, and it was like a few minutes late. But the fact that you told me we weren't going live till 12:30, and you know me, and I'm going to show. If I say I'm going to show, I was like, everything works out perfectly for me on time. This will all be perfect, right? And
Mhm,
it
mhm.
did. I think I was like 3 minutes behind, but we didn't go live right away. So I'm like, oh shoot, it worked out good. So
Yes.
you just have to have that attitude that it's going to work out for me, and not think it's not. And that's a lot of work for some people, to be really honest and fair. It is a lot of work
Mhm.
for people to shift that, especially if they weren't raised that way, from their family. I think it starts there. So, and I'm going to say I'm very lucky. I have a family that we always knew things worked out, but not everyone does. So I would recommend that if you're watching this, and you are one of those people, to start to have some awareness around that, because it's just a simple shift. You just have to remember to do it. So
Yes, I totally agree with you because, like I said, mindset works. So a lot of people do not understand what this is all about, and it's beautiful, like that miracle that we continue sharing with everybody, right? Whoever comes into our space, and it's important, like I said, at least see the, like plant the seeds, because some people take longer time than others, but they at least, they have the awareness and the idea that something like that exists. And my invitation is, before you truly deny something, why don't you try it, go through that, like really immerse in that, and then you can say for sure if that works or not. But deny something before even trying, it's not a fair game, because you've never experienced it, you've never tried it, you never really dive into that. So how could you actually make that conclusion?
right, right. And if you do that, what's really important then is to realize that sometimes it takes time to see the results, right? So that's where people
Mm-hmm.
get stuck, is they think that, well, I did that and it didn't work. Well,
Mm-hmm.
what does that you mean, right? Because there's so many
Mm-hmm.
components that go into time, right? You have the energetic component, you have maybe other people, other factors.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I definitely agree with what you're saying. And I would say that the people that end up, giving up or quitting, is because they just thought it was going to happen like this. They watched too many
Exactly.
videos on YouTube. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
stop.
Exactly.
Time has to catch up to you. So keep
Yes.
going, keep going. And sometimes it's 3 months, sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's a year to really change that wiring. And it's more than just mindset, it's your belief system. It's like
Mm-hmm.
your system. So you may have to do a lot of like reframing and remembering and tweaking over time to actually see the difference. But it's worth it. It's totally worth it. And you have an amazing story to tell. So
Yes, and you know what comes for me, Melinda? It's, we are on the journey,
mhm.
and people are trying to get into their destination because they think that once they have this, whatever they desire, it's gonna make them happy. But the idea is, it's not that thing that you truly desire makes you happy. It's you being happy yourself on a daily basis, and who you become in the process is even more rewarding than actually receiving. Because once you receive one thing, you'll see it's not gonna make you that satisfied and happy, because then you would wish for something else, and it's okay because it's part of who we are, because we are here to grow and evolve, but to understand that you can create that happiness right in this moment. You do not have to wait until your desire comes true to be happy, to be fulfilled, to be joyful, and to experience all the blessings in the world.
Yeah. So my husband and I, we've lived in the Florida Keys since 2009, and our journey to get here is crazy bananas. But the second place we lived in was this duplex, and we lived there for 9.5 years. And the street was really dirty here in the Keys, and there were lots of factors about the street and different things. So I was in this headspace like 2019, 20, yeah, 2019 and 20, where I hated the street. I was so negative about the street. And I'm this positive. I'm actually really positive. So I was like, oh my God, I hate it. Every time I walked the dogs were dirty. They were full of burrs. It was just horrible. Like, we lived across from a forest. There were bugs all the time flying in the door. Every time my husband would unload the car, put the fishing equipment in, bugs would be flying in. And if you're in Florida, you probably guess what type of bugs. And all of a sudden one day it like clicked. I was like, I'm spending energy being unhappy about where we live, and it's not going to change the situation. Like, it's just sending out like negative energy vibe about where we live. And there were a lot of great things about where we live. The street was close to the marina. We had a lot of space. The backyard was really private. This beautiful butterfly tree. So I just like shifted everything and on my own. And like about, like a year later, we ended up being forced to move because the landlord wanted to raise the rate like extraordinary. So she like got us out of our lease, kind of thing happened. And we ended up moving where we live now, which was more in alignment with what I had put out there as a vision in terms of a screened-in porch, place for our freezers, for our fishing bait and things, and a bunch of other dynamics. We have a homeowner's beach, nice street, super clean. The dogs are never like dirty with burrs. And it's just really amazing. So I attribute that whole experience of like a manifestation coming true for something I'd put out there as a vision to when I stopped putting negative energy on the thing that I currently had. So I hope this really lands for people, because this is so important, and not many teachers really explain this way. So when you look at like, what are you trying to manifest? So let's say you want a new car, but every day when you get into your car, you're pissed off at your car. You're like, oh, it's old, the window doesn't work right, the air conditioner doesn't work right, I don't have a great stereo system, whatever. Like, stop putting that energy towards the car, like in a negative way, and try to think of some things that you love about the car. It can still get you to work, it can still get you to your favorite restaurant. It has enough room, whatever. And you like the color, anything like that, because you're just doing yourself a disservice. You're wasting energy that is, I just looked at myself. I was like, I'm just stupid. Like, what am I doing? I know better. I'm like magical. I've like created so many crazy magical things in my life. I'm 53. I've done all this way before the internet. And what am I doing? So if I have like one big thing to say, because then that's a miracle, right? When that happens and you're like, oh my gosh, like I see this. I see how I've been keeping myself stuck, and I can shift it. And over time, so it took a year for the whole house situation to turn around. That doesn't mean it's going to take a year for you, so don't worry about the time. But we shifted, and we ended up moving somewhere that is a lot nicer than where we were. And the whole thing just like magically shifted. I consider that a miracle. I consider it a miracle that I listened to my intuition that was like, stop doing that. And I stopped, I took action, and then I trusted that our situation was going to turn around, and it did. So, we all have the power to do these things. It's really like being aware of that. And the awareness comes with like letting go of other stuff. So
Absolutely. I love what you shared, Linda, and to Melinda. And to wrap it up, can we just say a few words about supercharge your manifesting powers, because you're one of the experts on the panel,
Oh my God.
because it's still, like, this is such a powerful event. And just to say that whoever didn't join yet, there is still the chance to do that, because this weekend you can see all the speakers, the all interviews are going to be available. What would you tell to the people who are thinking about registering for the event?
Yeah, I would say if you are someone who is curious, has goals, has dreams, has a vision, um, wants to get better with things, is listening to this conversation, and you're like, oh my gosh, I see so many like little aha moments, little nuggets. I mean, this is like the overriding context and theme of Irina's summit. And heck, how much is it? Like, it's ridiculous. Less than $50? Tell me, I can't remember.
Right now, no, it's free
Oh,
to watch
free?
the interviews. It's free.
Oh,
It's only if
hey,
they
girl,
want
you
to
didn't
have that.
charge it for
Yeah,
this. It's gold.
no, it's free.
Mine alone was gold. I know everyone else's was too. So
Yes, yes. So yeah, so it's
yeah.
just for the people. Yes, for people to come in and really take the time to understand what manifestation is all about. And we have amazing speakers, and Melinda is one of them, sharing the personal stories, giving amazing tools for people to just use them and start really seeing the different results. And like I said, if you feel overwhelmed, you can always connect with somebody. And Toby, hi. Toby is also one of the speakers. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's always great to see you. Yes, and yeah, so register and just enjoy, because there are so many things, and you never know, something is gonna really stick for you, and you're gonna have that aha moment, and you're gonna see a huge shift in your life.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So yes, join if you didn't, and if you did, continue watching, because this weekend is gonna be super powerful. Yes, it's gonna be 48 hours replay. Watch, it's a great gift for Memorial Day weekend. Just enjoy it yourself, enjoy it with the friends, and just have this beautiful, beautiful discussion. So it was awesome, Melinda, for you to join us today. It was great, and thank you so much for your shares, for your wisdom, and all the great stories about miracles. And Toby, thanks so much for participating. And for everybody who is watching, we want to know in the comment, what is your miracle,
Yes,
because
thank
it's
you. I was going to
important.
say that too. So comment, so we know what your takeaway was, what resonated, or share a miracle, something. So yes, I'll do that.
Absolutely, yes. All right, so everybody have a beautiful weekend, and see you soon.